a bit of a bait and switch here, starting the video about pens with some commentary about pencils. I don't use pencils too much. I don't think I have too much to say about them, but this means they kind of have to go in the pen video since they wouldn't warrant a video of their own. But of course, pencils, despite the fact that I don't use them too much, there's a time and a place for everything. So they do, of course, come into my life here and there. There's, of course, I guess we can count this, specialty application, right? This is the carpenter's pencil, which I use in, any kind of sort of like rough woodworking or even some cabinetry work. And of course is, handy to have. Just strew these all around the workshop. Although not much use in day-to-day life. One comment I will give you is that a carpenter's pencil is about a 1/4 inch thick this way, and I think a 1/2 inch thick this way, or 1/2 inch wide, which can be good if you need to do some very fly-by-night measuring. And if you have a few of them on hand, you can come up with some creative uses for them in that regard. But we can set that aside for now. In more day-to-day life, again, another specialty application for the pencil is I like to carry a notebook in my pocket. And for some reason, I do, for this one particular notebook, prefer to write in pencil. And I find the easiest thing to carry with me is just a golf pencil or something like it. If you're on a golf course or through an IKEA, which is where this is from, I think it's always good to grab a small handful of these to keep around the house. And so don't carry a sharpener or anything. Well, in fact, because I always have some kind of pocket knife, I guess, if I got really stuck. Also because a writing implement isn't too hard to find. But this is good because it's small, it can't leak, and it's cheap. Setting that aside and going into, I guess, the more traditional applications, I'm, I guess, a fan of the classics. I like the Ticonderoga. Back in like elementary school, I feel like this was the best kind of pencil that I had access to. They're cheap. They've got the nice soft eraser, nice soft lead, and they're just my preference for a wooden pencil. I will say, if you are going to go with a wooden pencil, the more important thing is probably the sharpener. This right here is from M+R. It's made in Germany. It's solid brass. It has 2 holes, so it can cut, the 2 different types of point. I go back and forth, I guess, between which one I like, but it's got a nice weight to it, nice knurling around it. It's got a nice feel, and it sharpens pencils well. And I guess that's what it has to do. And I would say, if you're going to get a nice pencil, or any kind of pencil, a nice sharpener is definitely as important, if not more important. The, I guess, other use for a pencil is if you're going to be making a lot of mistakes. So if you're practicing something you're not used to, if I'm working on trying to learn French or whatever it is, and I'm going to make a ton of errors, I'll do that in pencil so I can go back and correct myself when I check my work. This right here is the Blick Premier. I don't know if I can get you to see that. Nope, not really. Which is a mechanical pencil from the art store Blick. I like it because it's nice, it's well built, it's got some good heft to it, and it's rather inexpensive for the quality you get. You do see that this is a 0.7. I guess they're usually 0.5 millimeters, but I really like the 0.7 line. So that's what I tend to go to, and you'll see that when we get to the pens, they all have 0.7 line weight. It's got a little lead indicator here, so you can mark down what type you've got. It does technically have an eraser, although not much to write home about, no pun intended. So I would definitely be using it with some kind of halfway decent eraser. This is, I think, from Pentel. So yeah, that's about all I have to say about pencils. I would just say they have their time and place, even if you don't use them very much. And there are some good ones out there, and there are a few of my favorites. Okay, so we can clear all those out of the way, and now talk about pens, what you really came here for. So, again, I've kind of arranged these, I guess, in order of accessibility, if not by price, then by use, practicality maybe, going from the most practical, let's say, to perhaps the least practical. Not to put them down like that, but for mass market semi-disposable pen, my favorite is the Pilot G2. I think it's just perfect. I think it's comfortable. It's relatively inexpensive. It feels good to use, and it draws well. And this was always my favorite in school and in college, and it's still my favorite. Of course, I feel like everyone has an opinion about a mass market pen. I'm actually a professional writer, and so my coworkers all have very, let's say, strong opinions about writing implements. And I will say that as mass market pens go, this is probably the favorite in my workplace. Moving along, this is the Zebra F301. Again, also very inexpensive, maybe $5 for one of these. But it's nice because it has it's a mostly metal construction. It is pretty slim, so it's not, I don't think, incredibly comfortable to write with, but it's incredibly comfortable to carry, and that can be, I think, more important, at least for this kind of application. If you want something in your pocket going through the day, I really do think this is a great option to have on hand. Next up is the Papermate Flair, another real classic. This is a little bit different because this is actually a felt tip marker pen. I'm sure many of you have used one of these before. The main benefit, I would say, of the Flair is, whereas these are, of course, black ink, while they come in other options, the Flair has the benefit of coming in a lot of different options. So you can get a multi-pack of the Flairs, and I just keep them in an old, I don't know, what's that, yogurt container, yogurt pot, on my desk, because it is really nice sometimes to have different colors. If you're, marking something up, or you're making a diagram, or you're sketching something out, it can be helpful to think in a few different colors. And for that, I would say the Flairs is absolutely my favorite, especially at this price point for what you get. Sort of along those lines is the Parker Jotter. So this is, again, a retractable ballpoint. It's a, I think, fairly famous mid-century design. I guess if you like how pens click, people tend to like this one. I like it because it carries well, and it's small but still fairly comfortable to hold in my estimation. I also like it because it's pretty inexpensive. I guess it's taken a jump up from the true mass markets. This is maybe $15, $20 a pen, but I've collected a few of them in a few different colors of pen body, and each of them also has a different color of ink in it, which, again, if I'm working on something, if I'm marking something up, making edits or notes on something, I do find that to be very useful. Up next, this is a cross pen. I believe this is a Bailey, although I received it as a gift, and I can't tell you exactly with 100% confidence that that's the model, but I'm sure someone can let me know if it's actually something else. But I like this one because it has a nice weight to it. It's sort of more formal, I guess, lacquer, and it has the nice silver trim, silver colored metal trim. One problem I will say about the Bailey is that the cap doesn't, when you post it, it doesn't like to stay there. It's very loose, and even if you really jam it down there, it can kind of go tumbling. But that's all right with my use case, because I really like the cross for taking very quick jotting notes out of sight, not even looking if I'm in a meeting or on a phone call. I have to write something down. That's really where I reach to it, because it's just so intuitive to get it, in your hand the right way, and to write and to put it down. So I'm usually, just kind of knocking off the cap anyways, doing what I have to do, setting it down, and not really going through the trouble of posting it. although it does write well. And like I've said, with these pens, everything, even the ones that were given to me as a gift, or that I think I just kind of, found, all managed to be the 0.7 millimeter line weights, were applicable. I guess that doesn't really apply to the Flair, although that also is a medium weight line. So that certainly is my preference, but of course these are available in different sizes. I also do enjoy using fountain pens, especially for, more, especially if I'm writing for a longer period of time. I find that it takes less pressure. My hand I can write longhand for a much longer time with a fountain pen. And of course, it's also just kind of fun. Not something I would, travel around with too much. And also not something I've spent, I guess, too much money on. This right here, of course, very famous. Is I actually haven't said it out loud. Is it LAMY or LAMY? I would say LAMY, but I suppose it's, I can't quite be sure. So this is I'll say LAMY Safari fountain pen, again with the medium nib. It just has the sort of standard black ink, although I do use a converter instead of the disposable cartridges, because I do use this a lot and I go through it pretty quickly. And I refill it with the LAMY ink. Again, I don't know a ton about fountain pens and ink qualities. That's not something I claim to have much expertise on, but I find this one to work pretty well. And I like that it has a little bit of blotting paper, blotting paper dispenser built into the body of the ink bottle, which is nice to use when you're, going through the trouble of filling up the converter. I will say, if you have at all considered trying a fountain pen, I guess a Pilot Varsity, which is a disposable one that I used, I think, many years ago for the first time, was a good introduction. But I do really like the LAMY Safaris. I have a few of them in a few different colors with different colored inks in them. So I have the black is the one I mostly use, and then I also have a cream colored pen with a navy blue ink. Then sort of last up on this list is the Kaweco Sport. Although this is a different model. The usual Kaweco Sport, I had one previously, is also in a sort of lacquery finished plastic. It comes in a wide variety of colors. I did find it's very light, and I'd like something a bit heavier. So I sprung for the Kaweco Brass, which is a nice form factor, especially if you're traveling. It feels good in the hand. It has a nice weight to it. And the way this works is it unscrews. Does it unscrew or does it just post? No, there are threads. Okay, so it unscrews and then it posts like that. And it has a really nice weight balance to it. It fits well in the hand. This, I believe, see if I can bring that up for you. This is a fine point nib. So it's my one, I guess, exception to that general trend. Because if I'm out and about, the fine point goes through ink a little bit slower. So I can write a little bit longer before I need to replace the ink. This one, I like how it looks. I like how it feels in the hand. I like the form factor. I think it writes pretty well. Although I do somewhat regret the choice to get brass. It's beautiful, of course, and I think it takes a patina really nicely. But the problems with brass is that it will, of course, react with the oils in your hand and everything. And so after you use this pen, even after I handle it for a little bit, there's a good chance my hand will very faintly smell of metallic, like pennies, sort of, which can, kind of, surprise you, I guess, later in the day when you're like, why do my hands smell like pennies? So for that reason, if I were to do it over again, I probably would have stuck with the much lighter plastic model, just as a consideration, something to keep in mind. Another benefit of this is that it does come in a nice tin box, which I really enjoy. I don't keep the pen in here. I have other uses for something else, but Definitely a nice thing if you wanted to give it as a gift for someone. So between this set and then we have my colored Jotters, and the Flairs, and then the pencils from earlier, I'd say I have a pretty well-rounded approach to stationery. Again, this is something that people can get really into using, and you can really devote a lot of time and effort into it. And I'm maybe still a beginner on that journey, but here's some of the ones I've enjoyed, and I guess I've explained quite a bit of my preferences. So if anyone has any recommendations, I would be quite happy to hear them. But until then, I think that's about all I have to say about pens.